Welcome to Eureka Street Crypto. This is my anti-professional crypto channel. I'm just a barely sane dude who fell down the cryptocurrency rabbit hole. This channel is my fumbling attempt to communicate myself outside my own head about my journey in the crypto space. It is basically my brain dump. None of this is actual financial advice. Well, that was kind of a stuttering and awkward intro. Yeah, but hey, that's how this show operates. We kind of operate on, or I operate on string, and that's how it goes. And welcome to Eureka Street Crypto. I'm Eureka John, and broadcasting live from Leander, Texas at 7:48 in the morning. It is December 23rd, 2021. And if you're joining me for the first time, welcome to the show. This is my video blog, aka Brain Dump. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm not shilling anything. I'm not a professional. I'm not a financial advisor. I am not a fundamentalist or fundamental analyst or anything, an analyst or anything like that. I'm just a dude who likes crypto, fell down the rabbit hole, and try to learn every single day and coming on every single morning to talk about stuff that I learned and just brain dump it. And you get to see the result of it. So whether you're actively participating or voyeuristically watching, you get to see something new every single day because the crypto space is constantly changing and evolving, and there's always something to talk about. And speaking of which, I have today with me, I have Pseudo Anon IDEX intern, and he's been watching my little show for quite a while now. And he's been a big supporter from the very early days whenever I was messing around with PO-ops, whenever I was looking really awkward. I mean, I'm still always awkward on the screen anyway. But and he's always been a super encourager. And just giving me some advice and some insight from his perspective. And so welcome to the show, IDEX intern, and it's good to have you on. And I love to get feedback and hear things from your perspective. So, hey, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man. It's so good to meet you face to face instead of Twitter DMs.
This is like the 2021 face to face now.
Yeah, right. I know. Yeah, maybe one day I'll be down in Texas when we get some lunch or something.
Right on. Yeah. So thanks for jumping on. I'm interested to hear your perspective on a lot of this stuff. We can go through the old coin gecker here like I do every single morning to kind of warm up. Obviously, as you probably know, I'm not exactly a technical analyst or whatever. But I like to look at the numbers, we got to, let's see, let's refresh this screen. No, I don't want to do that. This screen's pretty refreshed. We got Bitcoin at $48,902. What do you think about that?
Bitcoin's just doing its thing right now. I think Light tweeted something last night about how he's prepping for a short squeeze, right? So I don't know. Hopefully it'll go up. My hope is that the big coin goes up.
So, yeah, I mean, Bitcoin's the king, A lot of people say it's a dinosaur coin, a boomer coin, and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, the big guys who are coming in with the money, they see all this smorgasbord of different crypto options and all, they got their gray hair, but they got their money and they want to get into this innovative crypto market. But they're looking around them, and there's a bunch of little kids, to them, with all these funny little weird NFT projects, and then they see Bitcoin as kind of secure and stable, So institutions are already on their way in. So I think that we're not going to see Bitcoin under 50,000 for much longer, just in my amateur perspective. Yeah, and then Ethereum here at $3,969.72. Would you consider yourself an ETH, on the ETH train?
Oh, I'm a big fan of Ethereum. I have my ETH bags locked and loaded. I have them staked, and I'm super bullish on ETH. I absolutely love everything about it except for the fees. I hope that you know. But yeah, I think ETH is wonderful to hold, but not awesome to use as a member of retail. That's my opinion on it. I think that all these layer ones are doing so well because of that. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. ETH to me is going to be the layer one, the settlement layer for a lot of these, even other blockchains like Avalanche and Phantom and Polkadot and stuff like that. They're all creating the bridges to Ethereum, not vice versa.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that, yeah, I was listening to I don't know if you listened to the debate between Suzu and Hasu, but they were talking about ETH versus layer ones, and Hasu was arguing for ETH, and he was saying like this thing will just become, it's not really for like retail, it's not for the retail investors, it's for
Mhm.
become a global supercomputer settlement layer. And I agree with Hasu. But I think that Suzu really did bring up a good point, like by saying that the ETH's moat is just like pretty large right now, and
Yeah.
yeah. So I think that um, users will start to find ways like around the bridging process. Like you can now go to, like, I don't know if you use KuCoin, but you can get on the Polygon chain for like $1
Oh,
through
no
KuCoin.
way.
Or no,
Yeah.
Binance. It was through
Uh,
Binance withdrawal. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So I don't know exactly. I've never done it before, but some guy was like absolutely raving about it. So I think that I might start doing that.
Yeah. Well, can't with KuCoin, can't you get directly on the layer two from fiat? Or I know one of these exchanges is starting to play with that, or maybe it's Coinbase.
So I mean, it's funny that you mentioned that. I mean, IDEX is actually working on a fiat on ramp for
Hmm.
the exchange.
For,
So
to layer two or to IDEX?
yeah, to Polygon, to layer 2. So
Wow. Okay.
I'm really excited for that. We're working on that, and I'll touch on that a little bit
Yeah, a
later.
little bit of alpha coming. So yeah, we got to get through this coin gecko here. I know it's so easy
You're
to go
stuck
down
on
all
ETH.
these
We're on number
tangents.
2
Yeah,
right now.
squirrel. Yeah.
We have
I'm a
4 hours
total
stream
golden
of this shit.
retriever when it comes to stuff. Oh, I see my name on here is named Screen.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, they just call me Screen for the day.
Yeah,
All right, so
screen.
Binance coins 531.64. I'm not a big fan of Binance, but it is what it is. Tether, it's a stable coin. I think we could get rid of all these stable coins and the wrap tokens out of these rankings. I just feel like it's just noise.
Wait, you don't think Tether will be, or like some stable coin will be in the top 10 in like 5 years?
Do I think any stable coin like at all?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Stablecoin, I've always used like the swimming pool analogy. You kind of, you dip in and all the kids are playing, chopping up the water. And then, whenever they call the lifeguards call adult swim, you get out on the side of the pool and you wait. And that's kind of like what you do with stable coins.
While the big boys play.
Yeah, you play around and all the token you trade around and with all the volatility. And then whenever you want to step outside of the pool, you cash out into a stable coin instead of into a fiat bank. So if the process for cashing out to banks doesn't get easier, stablecoins will always have a place, and there will always be a demand for it, as far as I can see. But I mean, what do I know, right?
Yeah,
what do you think about that?
I think that it's pretty like inevitable for a stable coin to be like in the top 10, just because they just have so much utility. Like,
Yeah.
I was having an interesting conversation in the sauna yesterday with an
Sauna.
accountant.
We
Yeah,
don't have those in the South.
yeah, right. That's where you get the real alpha about crypto, is the sauna. But so I was asking him, he's an accountant, CPA, and because I'm really scared for tax season personally, because like, I'm like in these compound interest APY Ponzi's, right? So like, I don't know what's a taxable event and what's not. And I was asking him if switching and selling to a stable coin was a taxable event, or only going and selling to USD was a taxable event. And he didn't really know. He said it depends on how nice they were feeling that day.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Right now, I think that the ball's on anybody's court. Like my wife, she asked me, she's like, "What are you gonna do whenever they start claiming taxes and all this stuff?" I was like, "I don't know. At this point, nobody knows really what's going to be taxed and what's not going to be taxed and what the rules are." Congress is arguing about it. You have one side for it, and then another side calling everybody shadowy super coders and starting the mongoose coin.
Yeah,
I was like, so nobody's really settled on anything. When it comes around, I will talk to the tax people and negotiate with them, and let them know full transparency what I'm doing. And I've had to deal with the IRS before as well, and you just communicate with them, and usually, unless you get a total a-hole, the thing they'll work out something with you.
Okay, yeah, I hope. I'm sure.
Hopefully they're human too. Yes.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I hope they don't.
Yeah.
They just not out to.
Did Polkadot switch its symbol?
Yeah, it looks like it. They got a new logo. So yeah. So we got Solana here in number 5. XRP. I don't know how it's still in the top 10, but it's a it's 98 cents.
Killing there, man. I was doing much.
Just hanging on for dear life.
Dude, you got Cardano. Oh man.
$1.38. USDC, another stable coin. Terra, $90.29. Polkadot's number 10. Avalanche, $119.41. So yeah. Anyway, so let's get back to you here, and I want to hear a little bit about your crypto story and how you came about to even discovering crypto. You seem like a pretty young dude, so I wasn't exactly into anything financial or earning money when I was younger. It didn't, it's just, to me, it wasn't cool. So, but nowadays with NFTs and crypto and all this stuff, it is kind of cool. So I want to hear what your perspective on a lot of this stuff and what brought you.
Yeah. So I began as like, I don't know, a Robinhood stock trader. Like I stock trader back when 99% of like equity prices went up in the 2021 year, or the 2020. And so like I kind of got like the hunger for like, I don't know, like gains when I bought some Tesla, and it just went on this absolute parabolic run. And I was like, wow, like you can, in these markets when the interest rates are so low, like it's pretty much up only, right? So
yeah.
So like that kind of got me interested in investing. And then as I kind of like delved more and more, I began like trading Bitcoin. And when I say like trading Bitcoin, like I mean like I was selling it for like $50 profit back when it was like $3,000. Right? So like so naively trading like these crypto assets, right? So yeah, I kind of discovered crypto like in 2019, but I didn't really pay a lot of attention to it. I just held some Bitcoin ETH.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was on a hike with my father at Glacier National Park, and I was asking him about like crypto. I wanted to see what he thinks. He's like one of the smartest people I know. And he like sold me on Ethereum, like right there. He told me about what Ethereum did and like what he thought it would become. And I was like, why don't more people know about this? Like, this is huge. Like, this is so crazy. And then I slowly went down the crypto rabbit hole. And it's honestly all I can think about these days. Like, do you experience that as well? Like,
oh yeah,
I think like 4 out of the 10 thoughts I think are crypto.
Yeah.
So it's pretty like mind and time consuming crypto is.
It really is. Yeah. It covers so many disciplines. It covers so many, everything. It's just there. It's philosophy, psychology, economics, finance, programming, you name it. It's there's something, art now with NFTs. There's something with crypto. It's insane.
Yeah. Someone said something really interesting. They were talking about like, we were talking about Bitcoin and like why these big boomers with gray hairs, like they just go to Bitcoin because it makes sense to them. And they were talking about NFTs, and like a large buyer could look at Bitcoin or all these assets and be like, all right, whatever, they make more of them every day. I don't really care about it. I think it's a big bubble. But NFTs, their art, I can see this being really important in culture. I like that, and I'm going to go and invest in that direction. So I think that you do bring up a good point, and like there's something for everybody in crypto. If you like gaming, you go invest in there. Yep. Play games, play to earn. it's so exciting. I absolutely love the space.
Yeah, and speaking of NFTs, people say, it's just about JPEGs and art. It's actually the NFTs started out in the tokenized real estate space. It just wasn't ready for it yet, and I still think there's got to be some time for it to develop. But and then the NFT, the tokenized real estate industry wasn't quite ready for that for NFTs yet, and then so they started making art with it, and then creating individual art and ownership in the metaverse, and then I think that the real estate space will come soon enough. But
this was an up only podcast that I was listening to like a while back, but they brought on Path ETH, right? Are you familiar with him?
No,
Path
PAF?
Yeah, PATH. He's like a chart savant, like NFT trader, and
write that down.
Yeah, Path ETH.
Okay.
And they brought him on, but there's this. So he said the next big thing is using NFTs to own a decentralized protocol, like make the ownership even more decentralized. So to become like a part of this, like I think it's a blockchain. I'll have to get the title to you, but basically you buy an NFT on OpenSea, and then that you buy a planet, you can buy a planet, you can buy a sun, and suns are like 5 ETH. A planet is like 1 ETH. And they're like, I think it's like, please research this if you're
okay.
I don't want to answer this.
See, articulating outside of yourself, even whenever you've read it or hear it,
it's a big jumble.
It is. Yeah, it's a learning process.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's like you're running like, I don't think you're like running a node with the NFTs. I don't even think you can do that. But it's basically like a way to get more ownership and like make it more like user owned. So he was saying that'd be the next big thing. And then also, did you see what Croissant posted yesterday about the bakery? So he posted like a really big thread yesterday talking about how like he started out as like a political writer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he had hundreds of thousands of followers, and like the government like took all of his like platforms down. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he like turned full decentralized, like no centralized parties, like screw that. And his like ultimate mission is to like create a community of like independent researchers, mainly focusing on ETH. And the website's called The Bakery, and you purchase an NFT, and that grants you access. It's like buying like a expensive like journal that people release.
Okay, so he opened it. I didn't know that.
I think so.
I saw when he was announcing it, and I've been waiting and trying to figure out how to buy an NFT and get into it, but I hadn't seen any follow up. So, oh man, that's awesome. That's good news. Okay.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, this is croissant.eth, croissant if you're French.
Yeah.
But yeah, check it out. I mean, the guy or the lady, whoever it is, just has created this amazing thread profile for Twitter, and he talked about Ethereum, and it's really good stuff. And so he's opening up the bakery, which is what IDEX Intern has referred to here, and it's kind of a gated access using Web3 and NFTs as a way to subscribe and support the whole platform in a decentralized manner. And it's really cool idea, the way that it's going to be set up. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think I connected you to pastry.eth, right?
Yes, pastry's rad too.
He's awesome. They know each other actually.
Dude, I figured there was some kind of interconnection.
Yeah. I thought it was Croissant. I asked him, I was like, "Are you Croissant?" And he's like, "No, but we're very close."
Okay.
So I don't know if that means he's Croissant or he's like a one-man army of researchers or something.
Maybe it's his wife or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
or partner. So, yeah.
And so I've been like discovering all these like small accounts that are like bakery themed. Like there's a pretzel.eth now. Like they're popping up out of nowhere, and they're gonna have like these huge accounts. Like, so I'm really excited for that.
Yeah.
So
let's get a little bit more back to you here. I want to ask you. So you found kind of this whole idea hiking with your dad in the mountain about Ethereum, and then you went down the rabbit hole, and you said a while back you were looking for a job in Web3, and you wanted to start a career in Web3 and didn't really know, where to begin to look. So how did that process go for you? Like, where did you start for people wanting to jump into Web3 as their full-time job?
Yeah, so I'm 22. I'm still in college. I majoring in marketing. I'm gonna finish my marketing degree up this year or next year, I guess. And I think I don't know. There's like like laws of attraction. I think there is some merit to that like kind of line of thinking where if you become obsessed with something enough, like your brain's gonna look out for it, and it's gonna
Mhm.
generate all the ideas necessary, like give you the motivation to do it. Like you're searching for it, right? So
Mhm.
I think I was just like really, really obsessed with getting a job in Web3. So basically how I did it is I networked with people like you on Twitter. I asked around, I tried to build like a good like following base and whatnot, and just connections. And also a little bit of alpha. There's a website called blockchainstartups.com. And
I'm writing it down.
yeah, blockchainstartups.com. And literally I would just sit in class and just like apply to like I think I applied to like probably like 120 different like startups.
Wow.
I applied to the ETH Foundation like 5 times. I'm still getting like rejection emails from my I don't even know how I sent that
Yeah.
many applications to the Ethereum Foundation, but yeah, like so I applied to a ridiculous amount of places, and I
Yeah.
got I really lucked out with IDEX. Like they've been absolutely like phenomenal so far. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, blockchainstartups.com, everybody, and just network on Twitter. If you're not on Twitter and you're in crypto, like you
Yeah.
got to know that.
Crypto Twitter is like a double-edged sword. It
It
could be
is.
the best thing or the worst thing ever. You kind of really have to curate your feed a little bit.
Mhm. Yeah, you get stuck in echo chambers so easily, and that's what I didn't realize. Like when I was starting out, is that like, especially like you get like the Link Marine community. Like I'm a big fan of Chainlink, but
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
but like you can start to build these, you can follow a
Mhm.
bunch of people in the community, and like it's just hopium charts after hopium
Oh
chart.
yeah. Yeah,
Like
for sure.
it's a huge echo chain. So you definitely need to be aware of that on Twitter. But I also think it's like your Google for crypto, kind of like
Yeah.
all these people. I think someone made a metaphor of I think it was CL who made this metaphor of 4chan. He was on a 4chan like chemistry community, right? And there are these like world class like chemists that would just share their research and data all for free. And
Mhm.
this is kind of in crypto Twitter, you have a lot of idiots on there, but you also have like
Mhm.
literal billionaires like shilling you, and like you have Mike Novogratz like talking about like Luna and Woo,
Mhm.
and you've Light like literally calling the Pico top, and
Mhm.
like it's really handy, but there's some pitfalls.
Yeah. I mean, I always joke that I'm earning my YouTube degree in cryptography and stuff like that. But I mean, hey, I learned a lot of stuff on crypto Twitter and YouTube.
Yeah,
And,
YouTube University, baby.
yeah,
I've learned more from podcasts than I have from
Oh yeah,
4
yeah.
years of college.
Exactly. I went through 4 years of undergrad and 3 years of grad school, and I've learned more about, like finance and economics and, all this stuff and game theory just through listening to podcasts and crypto Twitter. So,
Yeah, it's so awesome. So yeah, that's kind of like my journey. And then um so like yeah, I got an interview at IDEX, and they took me on, and
Mhm.
like the team is so passionate about what they do, and they're so hungry. I've absolutely loved meeting everybody. I
Yeah.
still have some people to meet. I'm excited to talk to the people on the development side. They're like more like
Yeah.
kind of not closed off, but they're like less accessible to me because I work in marketing, right? But
Yeah.
I'm excited to like be able to pick their brains on like how different protocols work and what they think.
That's awesome. So, IDEX, you got hired by one of the most OG dexes out there. Like I think
Yeah,
it's like
literally.
Bancor. It was one of the original AMMs, and then IDEX right around there at the same time around 2017. So were you familiar with IDEX and the whole idea of hybrid liquidity and all this stuff before you jumped in? No.
No, I was like, yeah, it was really funny. Like I had no idea like what IDEX was before because I'm joined in 2019. So like I knew like what Uniswap was and like Sushi Swap, but I'd never like delved into it that deeply. But I'm really excited because they're like considered this boomer DEX, right? But they have this like cutting edge technology that's going to be able to disrupt like so much. So I'm really excited to talk about that.
Yeah, I'm sitting here scrolling through the IDEX page right now, and honestly, I look at platforms like this with all these red and green, graphs and numbers, and when I first started looking at this stuff, I was so intimidated. I was just like, and I went to Coinbase or even Uniswap is really pretty self-explanatory and easy. Yeah. Then you open up something like this, and you're just like,
Yeah, exactly. Can you launch?
So did you know? I mean, I guess from Robinhood, but Robinhood's also pretty easy to look at too. So how did you learn about like order books and AMMs and all this stuff?
Probably so AMMs. Like on my onboarding, like I like knew like very vaguely what all like the definitions were, but on my onboarding process, like I really hunkered down and like did the research, like researched my terminology and like to become familiar with how like an exchange works, and like how the order books work. Now, the order books, like I'm still learning because it's pretty like how market makers work, like how they put all the orders in. It's definitely sometimes a little hard to wrap your head around. But no, I really wasn't familiar with like the whole like the sushi swap, like vampirism, like kind of like the sushi forks, right? But yeah, it's been a really fun process of like really diving deep into like crypto terminology and how exchanges actually work.
Okay, so you've kind of inundated yourself with all this terminology, and I mean that's kind of how you learn a foreign language. Is for instance, if you want to learn Spanish, one good way to go about it is to constantly have the Mexican radio on in your car, to where you're just hearing it at all times, and different contexts.
I forget that it's like actually another language. Like you have to speak crypto, like when I'm texting my friends, like it literally looks like I'll capitalize all the I'll like do ticker symbols and stuff and be like, this is going like, and my friends are like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, like I have no idea what you just said, but you have to be able to speak it to be in this industry.
Yeah. So you're doing social media work in here, right? And you're kind of, I guess your description on your Twitter page is IDEX intern, and you're the Twitter. How did you describe it? I can't remember what you're.
I'm a full stack meme engineer.
Full stack meme engineer.
Yeah. So like I'm the baby intern, right? I'm the peon. I get coffees virtually.
Yeah.
And so like I'm doing social media, and I'm gonna try. I'm working under V, which is like the head of growth at IDEX, and he's like this 27-year-old like absolute like whiz. Like he started like this $3 million revenue startup like in college, like sold it, dropped out of college, and just as like worked as a contractor for companies and came across IDEX, and he's just an absolute beast. So I'm learning a lot from him and doing like business development, seeing how communities are built on Twitter, like how to create echo chambers, how are they formed,
how to create echo chambers purposely,
or like just understanding like the mechanism of like an echo chamber, and how they are formed. Probably not like intentionally create them.
Yeah. I mean I could see the use case of maybe somebody trying to intentionally create an echo chamber in order to promote their product. I don't know how ethical that is, but
definitely not ethical. I mean, like I think that like most of these companies didn't like try to create echo chambers. Like I don't think like Sergey is like I'm gonna create this internet cult they're my asset.
Well, I mean, look at Chainlink Marines. Look at the XRP Army. You know?
Yeah, right. Like
Even Digibyte. You know.
Yeah, they're absolutely dedicated. So I think having an echo chamber is probably beneficial to you, but ethical, I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting.
Exactly.
So I want to ask. You're learning a lot about these dexes and stuff, and echo chambers. And what are your firmest convictions in the crypto space? Like, no matter what you think you're going to learn, what do you think you're really going to hold on to, no matter what?
Okay, so first off, I think Chainlink. That's my chain agnostic bet. Like, I think that there's a difference between price action of Chainlink and what's actually happening with Chainlink.
Okay.
And like, if you see all the news that comes out, right? Like Google CEO will join the Chainlink advisory board, and Chainlink will dump, right? Like,
that's Eric Schmidt, right?
Yeah, Eric Schmidt. And I think there's a lot of inflation with Chainlink, but I think that what Chainlink will become is this, like, I mean, I'm sure you have a similar vision. Like, it's cryptographic truth, and I think that, like, institutions will no longer really need to, like, trust each other to do business with each other. They'll just use a smart contract, and it'll create this trustless world. And I also think I'm also seeing a lot. There's this guy on Twitter. I probably won't give. I don't know. It's like there's this link Marine on Twitter. I'm not gonna, like, dox him, or not dox him, like, give out his name. But he posts a lot of research on, like, Swift and MasterCard, and he'll go deep diving into their documents and their releases. And they don't name drop Chainlink, but they'll reference Oracle networks. And
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I think you do. So yeah, I think that's what it will become. I think there's a lot of inflation with Chainlink and not a lot of demand.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, you can run a AWS Chainlink node, right? Like, companies are messing with this asset. So I'm really excited for it. And then number two is, I want to say Phantom. Like, I'm such a big fan of Phantom. I remember I was super skeptical on Phantom. I was like an ETH maxi for a little bit. I had that tunnel vision. And my roommate, like, every time he was like, dude, buy Phantom. And I was like, like all the layer ones are gonna water each other down. Like, they're not gonna have the network effect necessary. And then Phantom, like, does, like, I, like, bought, like, a little bit, right? I bought like a little bit. I'll be like, okay, just so I don't, like, want to KMS if this, like, 10x is right. And I put, like, a little bit in at, like, 22 cents, and now it's like, I don't know, like, it was pretty like overwhelming, actually. So I'm really excited. Like, I think Phantom, like, their main goal is to become, like, infrastructure behind, like, government, like, payment platforms. So
there's a lot of criticism coming that they have copied and pasted Hedera hash graph. They use the DAG technology, the directed acyclic whatever graph, acyclic graph. And I think it's really cool. I think that is the type of technology, because Ethereum necessarily can't really hang with this whole, like, Ethereum is great, as you said, like, as a base layer, for settlement. But as far as, like, day-to-day action, like traffic patterns, IoT devices, and everything like that, blockchain even is not necessarily the best solution. But this graph technology, this DAG technology can keep up at that pace. And I think that's where Phantom comes in. And when you bridge that with an Ethereum virtual machine to Ethereum, then I think the two can cooperate. And that's where I think a lot of these layer ones can cooperate with each other, rather than, Ethereum killers. So
I think it's just so I love that it's EVM compatible, because you can deploy on it so easily as running on, like, ETH, right? And I think they use, like, lack assist, right? They develop
you call it lack assist, I call it lachesis, but I don't know how you say it.
However you say it.
It's basically hash graph.
Hash graph. And somehow, as the more people that are using the network, the faster, more secure, and cheaper it becomes. Like that it's insane to me.
Hmm.
So I think that long term, I'm really excited, and short term for like what Phantom is doing. So I have messed around in that ecosystem,
Yeah.
and I think I like you buy like there's this trend like layer ones go up, and then like popular dApps in the ecosystem will go up. Like you see
Hmm.
like Trader Joe follows Avax, for
Oh
example,
yeah.
like stuff like that. So I think getting good plays in the Phantom ecosystem, you could go
Yeah.
on like Spirit Swap, Spooky Swap,
Mhm.
and just kind of like see what you like.
Yeah. Just last week I joined the Hector DAO on Phantom, and I'm doing very well in that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of
So,
it's an Ohm fork basically. And there's Ohm forks on every single one of these blockchains now. It's been interesting to watch. So yeah.
so yeah, no, I was messing around with time. My friend was like, "You got to get some time, bro." I
Yeah.
was like, "What are you talking about? Like, 70,000% APY compound interest?
Uh-huh.
Come on, man." But so I like bought some. I put like $37 into time. I have like $10 in it, right? I bought it at like 8,000, and it's like 2,000 right now. So that's my Ponzi experience. I think I'm gonna
Yeah.
hold it and just see.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I mean, I'm involved in time. Wonderland.money is the website, and yeah, I'm like you said, I've seen some downward action, but then I think the APY is kind of correcting out a lot of that. So
really cool
yeah,
mechanism.
yeah, it is a cool mechanism.
I'm mega bullish on Danny coins in general. Like Daniel Esteza. I don't know how to say
I
his
don't
name.
know what that is.
Daniel. So he's the creator of Spell, Iceberg, Finance, Icicle Finance,
Oh,
Popsicle.
okay. I don't know that one.
And then he also made Spell, which you're probably familiar.
Okay,
And then
yes, yeah.
so he
Abracadabra.money.
like yeah, he's doing like so much stuff. So I think like he's building like a pretty large following of like because he has like
Okay.
3 huge communities, right? And then also the last asset that I'm really excited about is Spell. I think
Yeah.
that I do believe in the Coinbase effect, and I really like their education like aspect of the protocol, or not the protocol, like the platform.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like when normies like discover this like getting paid to take out a loan narrative, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
2 cents right now, I think
Oh
that is
yeah.
going to like a crazy Coinbase effect.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because I wanted to play around on Wonderland, and I didn't. I dollar cost average in with my paycheck, and I try not to, I try not to spend too much into that stuff.
Yeah.
But I was kind of broke before waiting for my next paycheck. I was like, man, but I really want to mess around with this. So I went over to Coinbase, and I've constantly done those educational videos and received little bits of crypto. Well, a long time ago, I did the compound finance one, and then the compound has since then blown up. So I had like a good chunk of change in compound tokens from Coinbase videos, and so I cashed it out and put it into Avalanche.
Good.
And then since then, I've grown that bag quite a bit just from a free Coinbase video tutorial.
Yeah, I've probably gotten like $80 from them. Like,
Yeah.
like pretty like not like pretty sizable, honestly.
Yeah.
So I really like what they're doing, and so yeah, I'm a big fan of the Coinbase effect, and also like
Yeah.
if Phantom gets listed on Coinbase, which
Yeah. And between that and like airdrops too, have you received any like really good airdrops? Because I've gotten the 1-inch airdrop, I've gotten the Uniswap airdrop, I've got the ENS airdrop, and then you look in your wallet after it happens, and your mind just blows, and you're just like, whoa!
Yeah.
And then you start finding out ways to grow that, and then I've done that as well. So anything that you've gotten your hands on?
Let me check. I haven't gotten any airdrops. Let me check if I haven't checked my MetaMask in a while.
Well, Mask token I think is on its way. So
yeah, the consensus founder said something about it. Yeah, I haven't received any airdrops. I need to be more curious. That means I need to be more curious in my protocols.
Yeah, and that's another thing you can do in the crypto space is you can experiment with a bunch of different apps, and then the blockchain logs you on as having, your wallet address as having played with that. So, that's how I got that Uniswap and 1-inch address at airdrops, is because I I messed with them, you know, and I think ZK Sync should be having an airdrop coming soon. I'm sure if you do something on Arbitrum, whenever they finally decide to do a token, they'll do an airdrop, you know, and if you've messed around on Arbitrum with your wallet. So yeah, it's really good to go around and experiment and play with a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, I finally got some expendable cash. So I think I'm gonna bridge into these. I'm gonna start bridging into these L2s and just explore them. So I'm excited to try Arbitrum.
Yeah, Arbitrum is pretty cool. I've gotten some stuff up on Sushi Swap on Arbitrum. And yesterday I did a show on the whole idea versus like single chain only dApps versus dApps that go multi-chain. And like Uniswap, Uniswap is on, you know, Avalanche, they're on Polygon, and I could see them going, not Uniswap, I'm sorry, Aave, and I could see them going on to Arbitrum and several others, where Uniswap, in contrast, they're specifically on only Ethereum-based type of blockchains. You know, they only have Optimism right now. I don't know what IDEX is doing, but IDEX has expanded into Polygon, right? So to me, the future is kind of going towards multi-chain rather than just sticking on Ethereum type of blockchains, right?
Yeah. So obviously, like doing decentralized exchange, like unless you're like wealthier than me on ETH is just like not viable. So we did deploy on Polygon a while ago, and the reason I asked them, I said, why can't we deploy on like 5 different chains at once? And they brought up a pretty good point. If you want to hit the launch exchange, John.
Okay.
They brought up a really good point in that right now we're giving out a lot of different like incentives, trading rewards. So like right now, IDEX pays you to trade just based on your volume. And
okay.
So like if we have and the liquidity providing rewards are also, hopefully you can get in. Okay, awesome. And so like also we're
IDEX version 3 is the first hybrid. Sorry, I was just reading this real quick. Let me just read this real quick and then continue on. So IDEX version 3 is the first hybrid liquid DEX decentralized exchange combining a high performance order book with automated market AMMs. So that's the AMMs we've been talking about. IDEX allows traders to get the spreads, avoid failed transactions, provide liquidity, all real limit and stop loss orders. So there's face I was talking about. All right, so you were talking about the rewards that are available.
Yeah, so you can go to the farms over there, but so like basically we have to stay on one chain just right now while we are like kind of onboarding. Like we're trying to, like, our main goal is like user acquisition, right? So we want to concentrate those rewards into one place to incentivize like liquidity providing and whatnot. So like just to like start from like the beginning on my like whole IDEX spiel, right? So like the problem that like IDEX v3 is aiming to solve is that, like, you know, like most decentralized exchanges that we use today, like there's Sushi Swap forks, and they're really high latency, low throughput, and they feature on-chain execution, right? And so so like they're really low throughput, they can't really handle a lot of transactions per second, and since they execute orders on chain with high latency, that's going to leave you as a trader, especially if you're trading with big volume, it's going to leave you vulnerable to front running, and it's going to leave you vulnerable to front running. So we have this off-chain order book that takes in all orders and executes them off chain and will hold your money in a smart contract that kind of acts as an escrow agreement. So it executes all the orders and then sends them to the blockchain in the order that they were placed in. So you can't get front run.
Okay.
So, which is quite genius. And
so it kind of acts as a little, not a side chain, but as a little depot station to kind of
Yeah.
drop in your transactions, and then they gather them all up and take them for you on your behalf at that point.
Yeah, exactly. And so like their goal here is kind of like trying to take the best of both worlds of a centralized exchange and a decentralized exchange. And I was right. So I wrote a thread about this on my IDEX intern account if you want to go more in depth for anybody watching. But like I was talking about how as we see this like kind of exodus from centralized to decentralized exchanges, you're going to have a lot of traders that are trading with big volume that are used to the interface that like a centralized exchange provides. So why not pick the decentralized exchange that offers like the user experience most close to that?
So they're used to this big scary interface
you're gonna like you can't really,
that a lot of us new people to trading and
crypto. And so like it is a little bit like it's like when you use KuCoin for the first time, like you might be a little overwhelmed after using Coinbase if you're like a newcomer. But if I've been trading on Binance for 5 years, like I'm gonna want to be able to place a limit order. I'm gonna want to be able to place like I'm gonna be wanting to add stops like this is it's a really cool interface, and it's really sleek and easy to use, I think. And just to like touch on this order book right here, so since the order book is so like hybrid liquidity, I'm like trying to articulate the jumbling. Like what hybrid liquidity means is that since it's like a traditional like exchange order book, and it uses like AMM pools, when you execute an order, it'll automatically, the algorithm will automatically combine you the best like combination of other people's limit orders and then the prices from the AMM pool to give you like the best price on your trade. So like the slippage won't be like too much.
Okay, so let's back up a little bit. The difference between an order book and an AMM. All right, so order book is how exchanges traditionally, even in the stock market, did things where you would put in an order and you say, I'm Joe Blow, I have $50 and I want to buy, a share of, XYZ stock. So they say, okay, we got this. We need to find somebody selling that XYZ stock. We're going to match you two together. And then bam, they make the trade for you, right?
Yeah, that was a really good way of explaining it.
Yeah. An AMM, instead of having that middle person, that an automated market maker allows anybody to add liquidity. So Joe Blow has $50 and, and let's say he has XYZ stock. So he could put both of those in there 50-50 in a pool so that anybody else who wanted to trade those two assets could dip in that pool because it's already there and nobody would have to look around for somebody else that has that asset.
Yeah, it was a super revolutionary idea, the AMM pools. And I think so like IDEX, because we launched in 2016 and became like the #1 exchange for like 2 years between 2017 and 2018, or the #1 DEX. And then we were kind of blindsided by this like this growing like AMM popularity, right? And so that kind of like took IDEX out of like the bigger picture for a while. And with this hybrid liquidity that this new V3 that IDEX offers, it I just think it's better. Like I would rather use this than a Uniswap.
Well, I mean, I've only really honestly I've heard about IDEX. I heard about it on Bankless and a couple other podcasts, but I never really dug into it. So last night was the first time I really kind of dug into it. So the problem with AMMs that we've been having, even though it's revolutionary and you can take the whole order book mechanism out and you don't have to find matching sellers for your buying needs, there's problems because there's front running, there's failed transactions, there's high gas costs. And tell me if I summarize this correctly about front running. Front running are when people or bots manage to go in because the blockchain is transparent. They can see your incoming transactions. So they hurry up and put another transaction in real quickly beforehand to drive the price up. And so they push it up. And then, so by the time your transaction goes through, it's going to cost you more. And then right immediately afterwards, they sell, and then they get to sell at a higher price bought it for.
Yeah, that was a wonderful way of explaining it. I think, yeah, that was perfect. I think one way that I like to think about it as well is like, say you're using like a centralized exchange, and you put like, and I put like I put a order for a 2.3K ETH long, right? And I post that on Twitter. Someone can put like a 2.34K like a bunch of bids over there, so I don't get my order, and so like I'm just priced out. So that's also a way like that you can get front run, to my understanding. But the way you explained it, like that is totally valid. That happens.
And because it's automatic, then there's really not a whole lot you can do about it. So what hybrid liquidity, in my perspective, if I'm understanding this correctly, it combines the best of both of those worlds, because the order book prevents front running because there's kind of somebody in the middle of it there. But then the automated market maker allows them to be able to utilize those mechanisms, at kind of at the end of the day when they batch process all those. So there's no front running. Yeah.
You're pretty sharp with this.
Wow. Okay. So cool. And so you've learned all this very recently, since you just got involved with IDEX?
Yeah. So I started like late November, like November 20th. So I've been working for about a month. So I think I saw the point where like the whole like IDEX vision just clicked for you. Didn't it just click right there?
Yeah. Eureka moment.
Yeah. You're like, wow, like this is going to disrupt a lot of exchanges.
Well, I mean, you look at these farms too. I mean, there's some really good APY and some reward incentives going on right now.
You get nutty APY on IDEX.
Yeah.
I love it.
And there's some like 80,000 APY things out there on some layer 2 solution. I mean, that's really risky. I mean, IDEX is OG. It's been around for a long time. This is pretty reliable stuff here. And APYs this high on something this OG and reliable is pretty rad.
So cool, right? And I can tell you nothing's gonna happen to your funds.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I'm so excited for it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Are you LP provider in a lot of different other protocols?
Yeah. I'm an LP provider in several sushi swap pools right now.
Cool.
So
Nice.
And it's doing pretty well.
Yeah. I'm curious, like I was talking to a friend on Twitter over DMs, and we were talking about LP providing, and like he says he didn't like it because when the prices go down on one asset, like your other assets like kind of like fucked, right?
Impermanent loss.
Can you explain that to me a little bit? Yeah.
So LP provider, for those who don't know, is liquidity pool providers. And when we talked about these automated market makers, these AMMs, and crypto's confusing because you dive in and there's just all these acronyms. So the whole premise of IDEX is it combines this new model of AMMs with the old school model of order books. AMMs are great, but it has these problems with the front running we were talking about, and also impermanent loss. So whenever you are putting 50% of Ethereum and 50% of some other token, let's say IDEX token, and you put it in there, and then one of those prices dramatically drops or shoots up or something, it'll cause an imbalance in that 50-50. So one needs to correct itself. And then so you'll have the quantity of one of yours dramatically decrease or increase, and in order to try to balance back out that 50-50. And this could cause a pretty severe loss in one of the assets. It's called impermanent because as long as you don't pull out right at that moment, then there's no loss. And a lot of times the market will correct itself. But if you do, and if you end up in a rug pull situation, say for instance, you're in, I don't know, Bat Exchange or something. We'll just call it that, not Brave Browser, but just like Batman Exchange. And then you have the Batman token, and then you have it balanced out with ETH. We'll say the Batman token completely just gets rug pulled, and being rug pulled means that everybody kind of decides to beep 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 back out of it, and you're the one left holding this bag, and that token drops in value, and you have all these Batman tokens left over, because you've put in this pool that's been trying to correct itself. And then you're just stuck there with all these worthless Batman tokens while everybody else is cashed out and pulled out of the pool.
Yeah, I have you. Situation. I have a funny question. What's been like your worst ROI of all time? I'll give you mine.
Yes,
mine was split. Like go pull up the chart if you can. Like
split,
it's actually like this.
Is it on CoinGecko?
Heinous. Yeah, it's on CoinGecko. It's like literally a heinous chart. I think it's Shop X or Split. It's one of the two.
It's not even pulling up.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah, it might just be a zombie coin.
Yeah, it's probably a zombie coin, but literally the chart just looks like the Chainlink ETH chart. It's just like literally like just like so bad. So I'm probably like negative 800% on that. Like
there's something on Binance Smart Chain called Rug Zombie, and I interviewed the founder of Rug Zombie not too long ago. And they have a project out for all these people that got rugged on these liquidity pools, stuck with these tokens that they can't cash out. Well, they've created a protocol where you can sit there and deposit and stake those rug pulled coins that you've lost for impermanent loss in these liquidity pools. And then over time, an NFT will be minted, a Rug Zombie NFT. So you can at least get like a cool NFT made by an artist, out of those rug pulled tokens. And then
I heard about that a while back.
Yeah, and if that the NFT increases in value, then hey, you've kind of made your money back.
Hey, watch like that one token. Maybe it like wasn't actually a rug. Maybe it was just performing bad. It just like moons, and you're like, have this NFT.
I've got a chance, but it could happen.
Yeah. So yeah, I remember you asked what my NFT experience was. I bought on my, I mean, you follow my like Super Ann on Twitter, so
yeah,
like it's like a Solana toad. That's like my
Solana
picture, right?
Toad.
So okay. I was too poor to like buy a ETH NFT, so I went to Solana, right? And I bought this, like it was like $300. It's 2 SOL, right? And so I bought this stupid toad, and I put it on sale for the market, and I didn't know that you could just like rug. I didn't know you could rug NFTs too. So like in 5 days, like I got rugged on this, and I was like,
oh no,
like, I was so turned off of like the art NFTs, or at least on Solana, right?
Yeah.
But kind of like this rug toad thing, but like probably not like like an actual protocol. This guy like started a rug toad like new NFT line. So you like trade in your Solana toad, and then you get a rug toad. So now I have a rug
that's
toad.
cool.
And
at least it's having fun. A lot of this stuff has to be taken in good spirit. Like never invest more than you can afford to lose. Like just take everything with a grain of salt. And I like your attitude on that and the way you're approaching it. Like you lost on that, but you ended up possibly getting a cool NFT out of it. And
yeah, right. Like when people ask me like don't you lose like a ton of money? And like I lose, I've lost a lot of money in crypto, but also like all you have to do is get a couple of really good winners, and you'll hit them too, and they make it up. Like you're good.
Exactly.
So like $300, not a big deal in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, it's like the new video games almost.
Yeah, exactly. Have you kind of delved into like the GameFi, like any like DeFi kingdoms or anything?
Yeah, I'm starting to. I've you talking about like play to earn type of stuff?
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting into Dope Wars, and I want to do a whole episode just on Dope Wars.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, it's the paper token, and it hasn't launched yet. It's going to be launching here soon. But I've been exploring other ones as well. So, obviously there's Axie Infinity, which is, been in Avagachis who have laid the groundwork for a lot of this stuff. But there's a lot of really new cool stuff coming up.
Yeah, I think, I mean, were you like ever a gamer, John?
Well, way back in the day.
You playing the Atari?
Yeah, Super Mario, original, Nintendo 2.
Yeah, I think like based on like me, like I love video games. Like and me seeing like I never played RuneScape, but like people still play it every day, right? And it's like old. It looks like shit. It's like a shitty game, but they have these virtual economies, and like like remember like World of Warcraft, like people were valuing the in-game currency so much that they had to take it away.
Oh yeah. People would make $30,000 a year just by becoming a fisher in that game.
Yeah, right.
I mean, the last like real game that I spent like binge playing was Metal Gear Solid way back in like 2000.
Okay.
But I've played like some phone games and like Sid Meier's Civilization and stuff like that. That allow you to interact with some other people.
Yeah, I'm in like I see like Ubisoft is like partnering with like I'm excited to see these centralized gaming companies. Like I'm excited to see how they like merge with like Web3. Like maybe like I play a lot of Rocket League, right? Like maybe there would be like a Rocket League token where if you win a tournament, like you get a bunch of these tokens, right? And like you can buy in-game items. Or I guess it would be that's what they kind of do, right? It's not like crypto.
Was it Amy Wu, or I can't remember her name, that was just being interviewed on Bankless, and she was talking about, she's with Ubisoft, and it was just talking about the merge of like, they were talking about why gamers don't really want to get into the crypto space is because a lot of this stuff has already been, this whole crypto economics and stuff like that has already been done, and with higher fidelity graphics and everything in the gaming world, within their own respective silos. And then here we come with our little, crappy graphics. And low interface. Yeah.
Like I had a friend DM me, like, it looked like a game that I made, like in like, with like a help you software, like in middle school. Like it looked like so bad. And it was like, I was like, but people get really hyped about it, right? Like this is play to earn, like this is going to be really big. So I think like right now, get in on the hype train, and then like in the later years, like take your profits, and then in the later years, that's when like the real like the big games are going to come, right? Like those are the real play to earn games.
But I've invested in Gala games as well. Wilder World is another one that I bought some tokens for, and then of course this Dope Wars. So those are three that I think are going to do very well. And then the MGH Meta Game Hub DAO. They're dealing with the real estate space and the metaverse. So,
Well, how do you think of MC, that game, that play to earn DAO?
I don't know that one.
It's like if you're bullish on play to earn, like you have to own this DAO token.
Okay.
Apparently.
Well, send me the link to that.
Yeah, I will. It's MC. That's the ticker.
Okay.
So you're like familiar with Pentoshi, right?
Yeah, I've heard it. I don't really know too much about it, but
he'll like post like a thread and then like reference it like 5 months later when it like 50x'd, and he like right. So he wrote like for reference, he like wrote a Solana thread like at like $5. Like he has a lot of followers. And he wrote an MC thread relative like a couple months ago. So definitely something to keep your eye on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I'm in an hour here, and I hear my kids starting to wake up, so I got to go, be a dad.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you coming on. I normally keep this to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff to talk about, and then we start going down this gaming rabbit hole, and then you're throwing out these names that I need to look up. I mean, it just goes to show there's always so much homework to be done in this space, and that's what keeps me like waking up every single morning so passionate about this, is because every day my mind's freaking blown,
Yeah, every day. It's awesome. Yeah, I thank you so much for having me on. It's so good.
Dude, you're welcome anytime.
I was worried. I was like, dude, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to talk for 30 minutes. Like now I'm like, now I can talk for 3 hours.
Yeah, seriously. Like if you want to come on, and you give some of your points, you're welcome to do this soon whenever you want. Like maybe do some picks. So
Yeah, for sure.
IDEX intern picks. I don't know.
Yeah, my monthly picks.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Right
But
on.
yeah, definitely keep an eye out for. I'm going to be posting a lot more threads, being really active on the IDEX intern account, and
yeah.
IDEX
Tell
is
people
hungry.
where they can find you.
What's up?
Tell people where they can find you.
So you can find me on Twitter. It's no spaces, all lower caps, IDEX intern, and that's I have like 40 followers. I joined this month, growing account. So yeah, we're having a good time there, and yeah, just shoot me any questions. You can DM me. I DM back, so I'm a pretty friendly guy. So yeah.
Yeah, you are. You're definitely friendly, and you're definitely helpful, and you offer some good insight with a lot of stuff. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks,
and
man.
I'm gonna play the outro, and I will see you on the flip side.
Yeah, see you on the flip side.
Thank you for making it to the end of this program. If you actually like this content, give a thumbs up. And if you want to hear more, just hit the subscribe button. I'm available on YouTube, Odyssey, and BitChute, and on all the major podcasting platforms in audio version. Spotify specifically. If you would like to follow and leave a review, that would help a lot. I am also available on Twitter at EurekaJohn1. That's EUREKA John, JOHN, and the number 1. My DMs are always open. Feel free to shoot me a message. Thanks again.